Jesus is anointed. In the story today, we have two huge opposites. We see the love and devotion of one person and the treacherous wickedness of another. Recently, Jesus had performed an absolutely amazing miracle. He had raised a man back to life who had been dead for 4 days. Now this man, Lazarus, had invited the Lord Jesus to his home for a meal. We can imagine how grateful Lazarus was, as well as his 2 sisters, Martha and Mary. We can also well imagine how hateful the religious leaders were at this time. So many people were talking about this latest miracle of Jesus. The leaders were very much afraid that things were getting out of control. They were jealous and afraid that they would lose their positions of authority and, of course, their wealth as well. They began plotting to have Jesus arrested and killed. Meanwhile, Jesus was at the meal, reclining at the table. This was how people would eat in those days. Suddenly, Mary appeared with a jar of very expensive perfume. It was so expensive that it would have been a whole year's wages for a man. Because she loved Jesus so very much, she poured the perfume over his feet and then wiped his feet with her hair. Judas, who was the disciple in charge of looking after the group's money, was indignant. This perfume could have been sold and the money given to the poor. What a waste! We might think he said this because he cared very much for the poor. Truth is, he was a thief and he'd help himself to some of the money from time to time. "Leave her alone," said Jesus. "She has poured this perfume on me to prepare me for my burial. She has done a beautiful thing for me. You will always have the poor amongst you, but you will not always have me." Judas must have been so annoyed. He could have stolen lots of money if the perfume had indeed been sold. So he went straight away to the religious leaders and offered to betray Jesus into their hands if they were willing to pay him. They agreed to pay him 30 pieces of silver, the price of a slave. And from that time on, Judas looked for the right opportunity to betray Jesus. We see from this story how some people can love and be devoted to the Lord Jesus. And the Lord Jesus is aware of such people and loves and cares for them very much. In fact, he went on to tell his disciples that what Mary had done for him would never be forgotten and be told throughout history. We also see how wicked, hateful, and treacherous others can be. To think that Judas had known the loving friendship of the Lord Jesus for 3 years and still was willing to betray him, and all because he loved money so much. We will learn how the Lord Jesus was arrested and condemned to die on a cruel cross just days after this. He knew what was in the heart of Judas all along and knew what he would do. He even warned him of judgment. So Jesus could have avoided it. But this was God's plan. This was, and is, the only way for Jesus to pay the price of our sin. Let us follow in Mary's footsteps. He is so worth it.
I am the way, the truth, and the life. That's what Jesus said. I am the way, the truth, and the life. That's what Jesus said. I can close my eyes and I can touch my nose. I can roll my tongue and I can touch my toes. Why did I turn up this way? I am not afraid to say I'm amazingly, wonderfully made. I can jump for joy and I can sit and cry. I can ask a question, I can wonder why. Why did I turn